Hey everyone, it's Jen and Jess from the beauty podcast Fat Mascara.
We're excited to tell you about Strivectin's Advanced Retinol Nightly Renewal Moisturizer, which gives you all the benefits of retinol without irritation.
That's right. After 4 weeks of use, testers saw visible improvement in fine lines, wrinkles, texture, and radiance, and 0% reported irritation.
Plus, Strivectin's Advanced Retinol Nightly Renewal Moisturizer has NIA 114, Strivectin's patented form of niacin that's clinically shown to enhance the efficacy of retinol while limiting common sensitivity.
Visit strivectin.com to learn more.
Down the blind, Andrew John. Inside for Albert. Albert will score. Albert will score. Newcastle have won. Fiddler's going to score. Fiddler, his farewell. His farewell. And he hits it. He's got it. He's got the field goal. He's got the premiership. He has gone from, as I said, a captain to a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try. That's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. Just a little short and sharp one this afternoon. One bloke in particular I want to talk about, and obviously at the moment we're seeing a lot of these NRL teams handing out their award winners for season 2021. A lot of the teams that have been eliminated from the final series handing out awards. Some are handing out awards that haven't been eliminated out of the final series yet. For example, the Gold Coast Titans. Now there's one guy I want to talk about. Obviously Tino, he took home the top gong there, which was well deserved. He's had a great season. I think that people are a little bit harsh on him because he didn't have the same stats and everything as he did in Melbourne, but playing, outside of a hooker like Cameron Smith, who was laying him on for tries constantly, putting him in perfect spots, he was always going to regress a little bit, but I still think if you understand football and you're watching Tino, he still had a cracking season, so I think it was well deserved. Tino, great season. The guy I want to talk about, though, is Corey Thompson. Now, Matt Rogers, he put up a thing on his Instagram the other day where he was at some luncheon or something for the Gold Coast Titans. They invited him over to do a speech and talk to the boys and whatnot heading into finals. And he put up a picture. Put up a couple of pictures, actually, featuring a couple of the players. Him and Nathan Friend were invited down. I think Nathan Friend was the first hooker that the Titans signed, one of the very early guys in their piece. Put up a couple of photos, two with Tino, just essentially saying, look how big this guy is. I'm glad I'm not playing rugby league anymore, which is pretty scary how big Tino is compared to Nathan Friend and Matt Rogers. I mean, he is probably a head and a half taller than Nathan Friend, which is scary. But the first photo he put up was with Corey Thompson. And look, I'll just read you what Matt Rogers said in his caption, because I thought this was unreal. I had the absolute privilege of spending time at the Gold Coast Titans team dinner last night with my old teammate, Nathan Friend. Great to meet all the guys, and yeah, thanks for ribbing me, Jared Wallace, ha. Was very keen to get a photo with this guy, Corey Thompson. I started out on the wing in an era where wingers just seem to be getting bigger and bigger. It hasn't changed. This fella breaks all those rules and is an excitement machine. His courage and finishing ability are as good as any in the game. Absolutely love watching him play and can't wait to see the boys rip in this weekend. Then he talks about how big Tino is, but I just thought it was sensational that a guy like Matt Rogers, who, you got to remember, Matt Rogers is a dual international. Yeah, he came through at the Cronulla Sharks, absolute weapon there, played for Queensland, represented the Kangaroos, won a World Cup there, went over to rugby union, was sensational there, was in the Wallabies team before he knew it. Unfortunately lost the World Cup final in 2003, came back to the NRL with the Gold Coast Titans and was really good there. So one of the great players, Matt Rogers, I think that we take away the sort of footballer he was because he didn't play his entirety of a career in one code or the other. I think Matt Rogers would have been one of the greats of league or one of the greats of rugby union if he just stayed in one of them, but he sort of split his career in two. Well, it was sort of split into three, and dare I say, probably his peak years of what we would have seen in rugby league were probably spent playing union realistically. So I don't think we ever got to see the best out of Rat, but I hold him as one of the best players I've ever seen. Obviously the son of a legend, Steve Rogers, who, if he was made immortal yesterday, you'd hear no arguments from me. Everyone you talk to from the older generation about Sludge, just say he was unbelievable. So he knows his rugby league, Matty Rogers, and for him to say this about Corey Thompson, I think it says a lot. And obviously Matt Rogers, he's referring to when he was coming through and wingers were getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, Matt debuted around 94, 95, so it was sort of the end of the Willie Kahn era. But then we're heading into the Wendell Saylor and the Lottie Takiri era, who were the premier wingers of the time. And obviously, I believe it was the year 2000 that Matt Rogers won that World Cup. And I believe Lottie Takiri and Wendell Saylor would have been in that side. They were the premiership winning wingers from the Brisbane Broncos that year. And the Broncos were essentially running out with an 8-man forward pack because you had Wendell Saylor, you had Lottie Takiri. So Matt was in a similar position to what Corey Thompson is. Now, you look at Corey Thompson. I mean, stature-wise, compared to all the other wingers in the game, you look at the size of some of these guys coming through, the athleticism of some of the guys coming through, the skill set of some of the guys coming through. And Corey Thompson, he realistically probably shouldn't be competing with all these guys, but he's just got ticker, and he just puts his body on the line every week, and he just goes 100% at everything that he does. There's not many wingers that start their career like Corey Thompson did. You got to remember, he started at the Bulldogs in 2014. So they obviously went to the grand final that year. He had a cracking season, 25 games, 10 tries. The next year, Canterbury Bulldogs played 10-odd games, 5 tries, a little bit disappointing there. Then all of a sudden, he found himself in England, playing for Widnes. So, you know, a bit of a weird career. Went over there, did really well. 58 games he played for 41 tries. So had a really good strike rate over there, did incredibly well. But there's not many guys that just fall off the radar for 2 years, especially wingers that go to England after 2 seasons in the NRL, come back and improve out of sight. He arrived at the West Tigers, and as soon as he walked in the door, he was one of their best players. He was the sort of guy the West Tigers needed. He just had ticker. He's arrived at the Gold Coast Titans, and once again, he's been unreal. A guy that had his name thrown around for State of Origin at the start of the year, and I think we've got to all remember that with Corey Thompson, he started the season incredibly well this year, as I said, but then there was an injury. Now, he's only played 17 games this year, but apart from the 8 games smack in the middle of the season that he missed, he's played every other game. And obviously, Titsy up there, Justin Holbrook at the Gold Coast Titans, he appreciates this guy so much. He gave him the Coaches Award this year, and I think it's a sensational reward for effort. And if you have a look, Tino obviously won the main medal up there, and Tino won it with 17 points. Now, I don't know how their point system works or whatever it is, however it works, but Tino won it with 17. In second place was Corey Thompson and Mo Fodawaker on 14 points. So he's only just missed that top gong, and he's missed an absolute heap of footy for the Gold Coast Titans. He missed 8 games. Now, that's compared to Tino and Mo Fodawaker, who are both State of Origin forwards. The next guy under them, the next closest is Jared Wallace on 11 points, another State of Origin forward. So for Corey Thompson to achieve what he's done in his career, I think it's sensational. I think he's one of the good guys in rugby league as well. I think that no matter who he was playing for, you couldn't possibly hate Corey Thompson. He's just a good fella who has a red-hot crack each and every time he steps on the field. Huge fan of Corey Thompson. I thought what Matt Rogers said about him the other day was really special. You imagine Matt Rogers walking into that squad and the guy he wants a photo with, it's not AJ Brimson. It's not David Fafita. He did have a photo with Tino, but it's not the guy that he mentioned first. You know, it's not the skipper, Jamal Fogarty. It's, you know, there's so many guys in that team that he could go to for a photo, and he's chosen to go to this fella. And I think it says a lot about Corey Thompson. And you know what? Matt could have just uploaded a photo with him and just given him, you know, a sentence or so. But he's pointed out why he loves him. And I think it explains why we all love Corey Thompson so much. You look at his body shape, you look at his skill set, his speed, everything, his height. You put it all together and you go, this guy, he can't be that great. Surely he cannot be that great. But he just competes week in, week out. I've got a lot of time and respect for Corey Thompson. I think that medal is well-deserved for him, a sensational effort. He was very unlucky not to take home the top gong for the Gold Coast Titans. Dare I say, if he would have played all games this season, or as many games as what Big Tino has played, I think he would have given it a real shake this season, because his form for the Titans has been unreal. I've been so impressed with him. You have a look at Tino's season this year. He's played 21 games, so he's played 4 more games than what Corey Thompson has played, and one of those games for Corey Thompson was injury affected, of course. So huge effort for Corey Thompson to get to where he is, playing on the wing in a team that only won 10 games and they lost 14. An incredible knock, and it's not like he's knocked the house down this year scoring tries. He's done well, but he hasn't absolutely knocked the house down. He hasn't scored 25, 30 tries this season. They're like, shit, we have to give him something here. He's gone 8 tries from 17, which is a good effort, don't get me wrong. But it's the little extra effort areas that Corey Thompson does so well. And this is why everyone at the Gold Coast Titans loves him so much. And this is why we as fans love him so much. Congratulations to Corey. I hope we see him run around in the NRL for a long time to come.